Good morning. We are practicing the Cemetery Contemplations from the Satipatthana Sutta this morning. As I posted in our chat, this meditation can bring some discomfort to the surface. So if you at any time need to step away, whether you're here live or watching the recording, just take care of yourself. When we were going through the Satipatthana Sutta back in January, February, as our introduction to objects of mindfulness, a Sangha member was asking, why would we do this? Like, I mean, other than honoring the roots of the practice, why do we do this? And it's to remember that this body fades away. Could be morbid, could be seen as unfriendly, and it is real. That's what mindfulness practice is all about, is sifting through the illusions and coming into non-abstractions, concrete experiences. And with so much of embodied practice, we celebrate the aliveness. We celebrate everything that is real, true, and here. Not the body how it used to be, one of my favorite sayings. Not how it was yesterday, not how it was when we came out of the womb, not even how it was 5 minutes ago when you maybe entered this practice, but how it is today. So we, in our practice today, will be removing any illusions that we have about this very body being stuck or hooked in a single moment, changing, inevitably coming to an end. Who knows when that might be? Death can be this experience that we are disconnected from. The two on the live call this morning, likely no stranger to death. Healthcare, professional, personal experience with death. Before we dip into the sutta, consider your own experience with death and mortality. Is this an experience that you prefer to separate into abstraction, concepts, philosophies, the darker corners of the mind and consciousness? The best way to prepare for anything is to become familiar with that topic, right? That's why we go to school. That's why we practice meditation. That's why we learn. That's why we grow, or how we grow. Death and taxes, two things we likely will never avoid. Death for sure. We practice with as much honesty as possible. Recall the Satipatthana Sutta is a discourse between a monk and his pupils. For ease of access, I've changed the language a bit, so we will be using quite a bit of the original language. I use air quotes for original as best we know. Directly relate to this experience as fully as your heart and mind feel comfortable. We begin. We contemplate the body in the body. Right there off the bat, this is non-abstraction. We contemplate the body in the body, externally, internally. The body originates, it grows, and it ceases to exist. Mindfulness is established in the mind, and dip it back into the body. The body exists. We can detach ourselves from clinging to the body as it was, even the body as it is today. The 9 Cemetery Contemplations take us on a journey of experiencing as directly as possible this encounter of death. Using your mind, imagine coming across a dead body, dead for 1 or 2 or 3 days, swollen, taking on color, blue, green, festering. This is our first stop of our 9 cemetery contemplations. Dead for 1, 2, or 3 days, swollen, having taken on color, blue or green, and festering. My own body is of the same nature. This body will not escape death. Imagine this same body being eaten by crows or hawks, vultures, dogs, jackals, even different worms, bugs. My own body is of the same nature. Such it will become, and it will not escape death. This same body being reduced to a skeleton, yet still holding on to some flesh, some blood, held together by tendons. See it reducing abstractions as much as possible. And know that my own body is of the same nature and will not escape death. And further, this body is reduced to a skeleton without flesh, yet still held together by some tendons. My own body is of the same nature and will not escape death. Recall, we use this repetition to tie the visualization in the mind into this very body. And further, this body reduced to a skeleton without flesh, without blood, held together by only a few strings of tendon. My own body is of the same nature and will not escape death. Having removed all flesh, blood, and tendon, this body is reduced to disconnected bones scattered in directions. You may notice a bone of a hand, the bone of a foot, shin bone, thigh bone, pelvis, skull. My own body is of the same nature and will not escape death. This body is reduced to bleached bones out in the sun, days, weeks, months, even years, bleached bones. My own body is of the same nature. Such it will become. It will not escape death. This body reduced to bones, more than a year old, years lying in a heap. My own body is of the same nature. Such it will become. It will not escape death. This body is reduced to dust. This body is reduced to dust. Back to the earth. My own body is of the same nature. Such it will become. It will not escape death. Now, time and space to be in our cemetery contemplations. As always, there's two approaches that may be skillful. There may have been a point along the way, that body in stages of decomposition, where there wasn't quite so much discomfort may have been the end, with the bones bleaching, drying, turning to dust. It may have been the beginning. You may spend your time contemplating with ease, or if there was a part of the guidance that challenged you, it's easier for it to live in the darkness. Maybe you try to safely navigate some of that discomfort. Time and space here. I'll pop in, just make sure we're on track. The mind sometimes goes into objects of focus outside of the meditation to feel safe or in control. Gently guide it back. As we approach Samhain on October 31st to November 1st, many earth-based practices celebrate the thinning of the veil between the physical world and the spirit world, the world of presence, the world of those who have passed on. And I find in my own experience that it's easy to jump right to ancestor connection, those who've come before us, maybe seeking to connect with those voices of people who have passed on. But what we're focusing on here with the cemetery contemplations is the very real process of getting from physical presence to the other side, the process. This very body will also go through this process, perhaps hastened by time and the process of body decay and bleaching of the bones. Remember, this sutta comes to us from thousands and thousands of years ago. Merit in still spending time with the natural steps in body decay. We'll stay here for a little bit more time. Is there any hope that we can find in a meditation like this? The same topic can be considered from many different angles. If we use binary, perhaps, this body shall fade, so nothing matters. This body will fade, so everything matters. Where do you land in that spectrum of thought? Does this breakfast matter? Does this sip of drink matter? Does this option for exercise, for rest, for contemplation matter? Likely is not an all or nothing. Consciousness is what makes it true. We close our practice. You may bring hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra, or for today, a hand at the center of the chest. May the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings. We include ourselves in the circle of compassion, and today we drop the illusion, the abstraction that this is somehow different for us. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a beautiful rest of your day.